Hey guys, how you all doing? Tuesday Night Live, here we are. So, what is new? Slightly new background. I'm in the office as the in-laws have taken over the lounge. So, who are here visiting for Christmas. So I'm relegated to the office. So here we are. Not much of a background, is it really? But hey, what are you going to do? So, who have we got in the room? Oh, not so many tonight. A slow start. I've got Tavo here. Good to have you along, mate. Chris Freemasson, welcome along. Danny Boyd. LVG is in the house. How you doing, man? David Tyree, hello. Chris Freemasson, did they bring the Remu with them? No, they didn't. There was some question marks over, going through customs, getting it out of the country. So, and they were a bit nervous about it. So it's like, don't worry about it. We'll just wrap it up and, just ship it with UPS or someone like that. So yeah, they didn't bring it with them, unfortunately, but that's okay. Charles Dalton, hey, welcome along, man. Yeah. Lounge, why, yes, I'll have a gin. There you go, Danny Boyd. Steve Sadusky, welcome along, man. Old timer, good to have you here. Hello, Kiwians. There you go. Andy Nickel, good evening. Just stopped in by to say hi and bye. Might be back later. Oh, okay. All right. Well, feel free to come back, man. Steve Milne, g'day. 11:02 a.m. in Brisbane, the Gold Coast of Australia. Very cool. Paul Faint, good evening, everyone. Don't forget to smash the like button. This is true. Do hit that like button. It really does help. So, yeah, please do. Tava, I'm only half here. Weekend catching up with me. A few too many whiskies, was it, mate? Or you're just working so hard on the Valiant? Chris Freemasson. Yeah, I was wondering how that slab was going to fit in an overhead compartment. Yeah, no, it was a little bit big. We were going to trim it down a little bit. Granddad's Junk said is a somewhat oversized piece, so we were going to trim it down a little bit to about 4 feet long. But yeah, it would have gone on as like carry-on baggage, like oversized, they call it, or odd-sized baggage. I mean, people take surfboards on planes, so you can take something that size. But yeah, it's it is going through customs, and I think if we just wrap it up in cardboard, send it on UPS, it'll be a lot simpler. Paul Funk, did you buy that Lincoln Mark Ford? No, mate, I didn't. I missed out on it. I tried, but it didn't come together, unfortunately. Steve Sadusky, where's Kev? He's at the workshop, like on guard dog duty. So he's perched on the top of the Sunbeam and, making sure nobody gets their hands on it. Danny Boyd, here's the first of the day. Okay. First of the what of the day? First drink of the day? Good for you, man. It's my first drink of the day, so cheers. I've had the damn flu for the last week, mate. I've had it for the last 3 weeks, and I'm still lingering, eh? Like, just slowly, ever so slowly, kind of, it's getting less and less, but it's still there. But yeah, so we're into 3 weeks and 2 days or something like that. So it's tough shit, man. Tavo, no whiskies, just a 40-hour day, Saturday morning to Sunday night. Wow. Retrieving an injured Honda and its driver from the Northern Territories. Oh, wow. Oh, good for you, man. Good. I mean, yeah, good for you for helping. That's awesome. Danny Boyd, first sip of gin. There you go. Mate, I'm not gin doesn't do it for me, eh? Like, that's not criticising your drink of choice, buddy, but at all. But I'm just saying that, gin. The missus, like the wife, likes gin, but it's not a drink for me. Steve Sadusky, I'm drinking beers and have a buzz on already. Am I normal? Well, it depends how many beers you've had, mate, and whether you've had anything to eat. It certainly kicks in a little quicker if you haven't had dinner yet. Chris Freemasson, don't cut that slab down. You need extra so you can move the pattern around and get the best appearance. Well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. It was all just a little last minute. So yeah, we just kind of pulled the plug on. I mean, I don't need it in any desperate hurry. As you guys are well aware, I've got a little bit to do yet. So yeah. No, you make a good point. Yeah. No, that's a good point, Chris. Tavo, lots of coffee. There you go, mate. There you go. So who's been working on their car? Who's been making progress? Like what's going on? Well, I've been busy at the shop, but not doing a lot that really, lent itself to good videos. Do have a video coming up on a GTO. I've got a 64 GTO in the shop now, and it did come in a long way. It was back for engine work. So we finally got the engine back from the engine rebuilders. It's the slowest engine I've ever had rebuilt by a long shot. And got it back in, got it running. It's the tri-power one, 4-speed. So it's a cool old car. And it goes pretty darn good. But we've got some issues. The carburetors are... I think the float levels are wrong. They're the center car particularly is you shut it down and it's dripping, so yeah, it doesn't want to restart because it's flooding itself. So I've got to do that tomorrow. Kind of have a little investigate into the carburetors and see if we can't fix this overfueling issue, and which is never good on a brand new motor. So get that buttoned down and get it out for a road test and. That'll make a good little video. It's a cool old car. Not super original and not super mint or anything like that, but just a good old survivor, paint's fading a little bit here and there, and a few things aren't quite as original as they could be, but he loves it, he drives it, but needed a new engine, so. Mopar man, hey, hello fellow wrenchers. Well, welcome along, sir. Chris Freemason, not here. Way too cold outside to work on my project. Mate, you need a heater in there. You need a heater. Danny Boyd, got my 05 GT fastback, 99% in primer, but it's too dang cold to get out there and sand it. Yeah. It's not great weather for painting, really, is it? But you do what you got to do, don't you? Tavo, only been working on a Honda the last couple of days, trying to get that back on the road. Okay. Yeah, you got to be mobile, don't you? You got to have a driver. Mopar man, about my 225 Super 6. About got my 225 Super 6 finished. I'm just hooking up wires, hoses, odds and ends. Yeah, it's surprising how long those details take, isn't it? Like putting this Pontiac, we just put the motor back in this week, and it's like, wow, especially when it was like 9 months ago that I pulled it apart. So like the memory's long since been erased then. So there's a lot of kind of looking and going, I think this goes here, but So that's been a little challenging, but we got it, and everything's connected, and we've got no spare anything. So. And it started first hit, so it was good. Matchrat 5006 Swiss Cheese Mustang Fastback updates. Yeah. What's the update on that? I'm kind of halfway through a video on that car. We've got the rear quarter mostly on now. Got it 70% welded on. And got all the wheel arch like rolled and folded under, so that's worked out really nicely. Got to get the doors on so we can where you weld the quarter to the B pillar where it lines up with the door. You've got to have the door on and match it as best as you humanly can. The quarter profile to the door. So, yeah, got to get the doors on, and they're brand new doors, so I'm not quite sure how good they're going to be. being repops. But yeah, so a little bit of action happening on that, but we're probably a week away from a video on that, I would say. Steve Sadusky, I haven't started on my 85 Monte Carlo SS with the pinholes in the roof, which has me nervous because the steel is so thin, but soon, I guess. Yeah, it's yeah, the steel will be thin. Yeah, are you going back with a vinyl roof on it, or are you going? Are you just going for paint finish? If you're going for a paint finish, you might want to think about actually putting a roof skin on it. LBG spent the last week on the 60 Cruiser-matic tranny. Okay, it doesn't shift, doesn't auto shift. Looks like the rebuilder put the governor on backwards on there. Really? Good Lord. Yeah, don't know a lot about automatics, I'll be honest with you. So I'm not much help on that front. I take them to the automatic shop mainly because I've got enough shit to do without learning how to do automatics as well. Chris Freemy, so I don't have any garage space to work and have to work outside. Oh wow, yeah, that's going to be cold, mate. No, you get a pass on that one, a free pass. Yeah. We don't need to see you on the news frozen to your wheel hub. Making the 6 o'clock news. That's not what we're looking for. Jess Phuket. I hope I'm saying that right. Just putting the finishing touches on my 406 for the 62 Galaxy. Nice. Twin 4 barrels. 406 in a Galaxy. Probably twin 4s. Could well be. Charles Dalton. So many house projects. Yeah, I know what that's like. Nothing on cars for a while. Hopefully start up in January. Unless you count the oil filter change I'm doing on my wife's car this Saturday. Yeah, no, that doesn't really count, mate. I mean, it's got to be done, but yeah, it doesn't really count as working on your projects. It does count as keeping the wife happy, but which is never a bad thing. Stephen Carter live from Amerigotta. Okay, explain that one. Where and what is Amerigotta? I'm sure I'm probably going to go. Oh, I know what he means, but right now I don't know. Matrat, can't wait to see it finished. Well, yeah, I'm sure. Just like the owner, he's pretty keen to see it finished too. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to getting past the bodywork stages on that, or the major bodywork stuff. Because the next video on that car is going to include the filler panel between the back window and the deck lid and the tail light panel. And he's also got some custom tail lights to go in it, which are sitting there in the box, which I've got to open and investigate how that goes in. So yeah, there's a little bit, but once that's done, then we can kind of get on to doing the rear suspension, which I'm quite looking forward to, and then motor and transmission and all that kind of fun stuff. So yeah, I've been doing quite a lot of drilling out spot welds and cutting rust out lately. And like anything you do, you start to, it gets a little boring, like if you do too much of it. So yeah. Tavo, peel the roof skin off and give it a new one. Or better still, find a donor to take a second-hand roof skin from. Yeah, well, yeah, you know that story, don't you, Tavo? You've been there and done that. Steve Sadusky, no vinyl roof. The SS has a straight, solid roof structure. If it had a vinyl roof, I could manipulate it better, but no. Yeah, mate, if you've got pinholes, yeah, I'd be tempted to try and find a roof skin for it. I don't think they're repopping them that I'm aware of, but that wouldn't be surprised if that had slipped by me. They could be making new skins for them. If they're making new, repop roof skins, I'd definitely think about doing that. See, here we got Jess Phuket. Yep, 2 4s, 4 speed, nice. And 457 rear gears. Wow. That won't be factory though, will it? That's too low for factory. But yeah, that should scoot along. No, we're possibly not going to be a great interstate cruiser, but with 457s, but should get up and haul ass. Lower man, yes sir, the autos are a bit of a pig. No one knows how to work on these vintage automatics. Had to teach myself. There you go. Fortunately, I've got a guy who's like very literally 5 minutes up the road from me, who's an old boy, sort of my age and maybe a little bit older. And he was working on those old things when they were new, so he knows them backwards and forwards and every which way, and he's really good. So when you've got that kind of knowledge 5 minutes down the road, it's foolish not to use it, take advantage of it. Paul Funk, that 62 Galaxy sounds like a really cool car. Yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Steve Sadusky, no repops for the 85 Monties that I know of. Yeah, it's probably a little bit too new, isn't it? But I would, there's a lot of, they're not hard to find, those cars. But yeah, that'd be a busy, let's be a busy with all the windows and stuff on them. That'd be a bitch to get it off the old car. Yeah, that's a difficult one, but that's a difficult one. Danny Boyd, where'd he go? Oh, you retracted it. Okay, about to read it, and it disappeared. A G-body roof skin can't be that difficult to find. No, I wouldn't think it'd be hard to find. Getting it cut off the old car and then onto the new one would be no small job. Assuming it's a two-door one. So yeah, they've got that. Haven't they got a window in the C pillar that you see? You have to get around all that. Danny Boyd, a little bit difficult to put on, but doable. Yeah, exactly. Danny Boyd, I dig them old Galaxies as much as old Impalas. Yeah, both are cool cars for sure. Matt's Rat, Montana, lots of dry 80s cars and private junkyards. Look on Hemmings. Okay. Tavo, removing a roof skin without damaging it. Child's play. Really? Yes. I've done it a couple of times, and yeah, that might be overselling it a little bit, calling it child's play. I mean, it's just patience. You just got to be patient. Steve Sadusky, yes, window in the C pillar. Depending how they've done that will complicate it a little, making it a little bit harder getting it on and off properly. But Barracuda, hey, welcome along, bud. Looks wise, 63 was a good year for the Galaxy and Impala, especially the Galaxy. Yeah. Danny Boyd, I assume the roof skin does not include the B pillar. Mate, I don't know. I don't know where they joined them. Not a car I've ever worked. Oh, I did a little bit of engine work on one once, but nothing structural or body wise at all. So yeah, I don't know where I mean, it wouldn't be. Should be easy enough to find on YouTube. Somebody will have been down that road doing something with the roof on one of those. Sure to have been. I mean, just to be able to see where the leaded and joins are would be helpful. All right, what else have we got going in at my place? I've been working a little bit on the Sunbeam. If you saw the picture on my post about tonight, you'd have seen a picture of the ground underneath the Alpine where the floor used to be. There's absolutely there's no floor from the step up over the diff forward. That's all gone. No floor, no chassis, no nothing, all gone. So soon, hopefully, we'll start putting it back together. Yeah. Danny Boyd, roof skin typically includes the top of the C-pillar, though. Okay. Now, if you can find one, I'd put a new one on. Second-hand new one. Yeah. Paul Funk. We've talked about this before, though, haven't we, Danny? I can't remember where the conversation went. I do remember you talking about, the pinholes in the roof of your car. Tarbo, yeah. Saw a picture of the shop floor. Yes, indeed, exactly. Paul Funk, my dad had a 64 Galaxy with a 352, one of my favourite body styles. Yeah, they were all pretty cool around that era. They were all pretty cool. One I like is the Starliner. What's that, a 61 Starliner or 60? I think they're one of the coolest, early 60s Fords. LVG, even though we've had all the small issues, the smile on the wife's face when she took it out her 60 T-board for the first rip was priceless. That's awesome, man. Well done. You're always going to get a bunch of small issues. That's just how it is. Like this GTO that we just got running again, put the new engine in. I'm going to take that. I'm probably going to drive it home and back to work again just to put 40 minutes on it. Because of those little small issues, weird stuff that goes on, Danny Boyd, first car I rode in dark red two-door hardtop. Nice. Josh Homan, hey, welcome along. Good to have you here, man. So, I'm still just there we go. There's another comment. When the comments stop scrolling, it's like, oh, have I gone off air? Like, is the internet dropped out? But so far, so good. So touch wood. Steve Sadusky, finding a donor car for reasonable money is hard to find unless someone in this group knows of a place person. Right. Danny Boyd, I'd take a 64 Galaxy over a 64 Impala. Hey, that's fine. But most of us are either in the Ford or Chevy camp, so. I do like the 64 Impala, though. I think the two-door one is a cool-looking car. Mind you, I kind of have a soft spot for them because my old man had one when I was, 10, 11, 12, something like that. And it had someone had taken it was a new in New Zealand model, so right-hand drive, and he didn't get it new. But someone had swapped out the old 283 that it had for a 350. So it actually went quite well. But yeah, had good memories of that. Kerosene and cucumbers, you going home for the holidays, Kiwi? No, mate, not this year. Not this year. We went last Christmas, but this year the in-laws have come over here. So, Christmas in the USA this year. Let's see. Jeff Hutchins, got rid of my customers. Let's see if I can hold them off for another 26 minutes. There you go. Barracuda, I've been incommunicado for 8 days, needed another phone. It took 8 days to get here after ordering. Good Lord. 8 days to get a phone? Wow. I wouldn't. Even in New Zealand, I wouldn't have thought you would have taken that long to get a phone. But hey, there you go. Danny Boyd, 1959. I'm taking the Chevy. Yep, I agree. Yep, 59 Chevy. The 59 Ford was, was not that pretty a car. It really wasn't. Probably the only 59 Ford I would have would be the retractable top one, just because it's a retractable top. But yeah, the Chevy had them beat hands down in '59. Tavo, never know your luck, Steve Sadusky. Found my roof cut from a car that was destined for scrap, but trying to buy a roof is near impossible. Yeah, it's the right place, right time, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, you may have to buy a whole car, a whole body shell, to get one. But yeah, that's what you need, one that's been hit in the front or, had a bit of a hit in the back, but the roof's still straight. And someone stripped it and getting ready to dump it. Because it's not everybody that's going to want, while they're hard to find, they'd be hard to sell too. There's not many people going to be putting new roof skins on a 85 Monty. I've got to remember to switch to live chat. There we go. I think that brought me a few more comments. Jeff Hutchins, yep. There's Ford people, Chevy people, and then the smart people, Mopar people. Well, wealthy people, Mopar people, expensive, but I've got a kind of foot in two camps because I've got Mopar and I've got Ford, so I don't have any Chevy though. I'd have one though. Jess Phuket. Well, you see, my neighbour has a 65 Bel Air with a 396 4-speed and has been trash talking about the Galaxy. I can't abide idle spittle, so we're going to have a stoplight Grand Prix. Very cool. Very cool. Should try and take it to a local. Have you got a local drag strip anywhere near? That's always that's a little bit safer way of doing it, but yeah. Danny Boyd, I thought it was spelled Chibby. No, it's Chibby, mate. It's Chibby. Chris Frell, here we go. Chris Freeman says Chevrolet, cracked heads, every valve rattles, oil leaks every time. What's the other one? Chev is cheap, hastily engineered vehicle. There you go. Yeah, cheap, hastily engineered vehicle, not for Chev, not Chevrolet. Paul Funk, that Pontiac El Camino that you did a video on is one of my all-time favorite custom builds. That was an exceptional car. That really was an exceptional car. You don't often see them. That aren't some can-dig-it design $1 million car. It was a guy did it, and he had the skill set for it. He wasn't just your average weekend warrior. He worked in the automotive industry. He was a clever dude anyway, but he put that together extremely well. Code Red Guild. Sent you an email with a link to Google Drive. Yes, I got it. Thank you. I've been so busy trying to get home and have dinner and do this live. I got that, and it's awesome. I think it's great. But what now? Just so the rest of you guys, some of you will have seen I shared a video, an AI video of it was called turning shit into ice cream. And it was a great video, and Code Red Jew Girl, I hope I'm saying that right. She created that, and it was great music, and I sent her a picture of the KSV 9000, my Mustang, and she's done a song and a video clip of that, and I'm going to use it for the intros into my videos. And it's really, really, I love the song. It is awesome. Maybe I want to talk to you about a little bit more animation, maybe expanding the animation on it a little bit. And, we need to talk about compensating you for your time on that, Code Red. So, but no, I love it. For a first, all I did was send you a picture and one line, and then you've done the rest, and it's awesome. I'm really, really thrilled with it. So, we will talk tomorrow, hopefully. Steve Sadusky, I hope you got Kev a Christmas present. Yeah, I'm going to let him come home for Christmas, like to the house for Christmas. How about that? That's his present. So he gets a weekend off over Christmas. Possibly a little bit of bourbon too, somewhere along the line. Match rat, take it to the track. Way more fun, and you don't get arrested. This is true, very true. Yeah, keep an eye out on my videos. As soon as we can get this little intro video kind of settled, exactly how I want it, then it's going to be pretty cool. I don't have a way of playing it on here for you. Chris Freemason, get Kev what he really needs for Christmas: a 2 to 4 year stint at Leavenworth. Yeah, well, for all the times he's wrecked the internet, yeah, that's probably reasonable. Yep, hit that like button. Yeah, Steve Sadusky is reminding you to hit the like button, so it does help. Code Red Girl, I hope you like it. I can work on whatever you need. Okay, I'll be in time. I'll either ring you or email you tomorrow, and with a bit more detail. So, but no, I really do like it. So, Jeff Hutchins, I'm actually not that brand loyal. I have some of everything. My brother-in-law says Ford found out back rescuing Dodges, but he has a Dodge now. So yeah, there you go. Ford's first on race day, mate. First on race day. But the best acronym I've heard was the Pontiac one, but I'm not going to repeat that one here. But some of you may know about the Pontiac. It's a poor old something thinks it's a Cadillac, but yeah, which is not very politically correct, but it's kind of funny and clever. Sleep Sounds, what's the best way to contact you for some work on my 66 Mustang Fastback? Has some pan leaks and other things that need buttoned up in the Nashville area. Mate, just give me a ring at work. Just Google me, Kiwi Classics and Customs, and phone number will be right there. But yeah, not before Christmas. I promise you that. Not before Christmas. Code Red Girl, awesome. Yeah. Yeah. Again, thank you. Match Rat, do a track day with some of your customers this spring. Be great content. A track day, like a drag strip track day, do you mean? I guess. Yeah, I could do that, I guess. I've got enough. First on rubbish dump, David Tyree, come on. It's also, what is it? First on rubbish dump, found on rubbish dump, fix or repair daily. That's another one. Charles Dalton, I was wondering when the Pontiac one was going to come up. Yeah, that's really it's a tricky one. It is funny, but it's not very nice either. But yeah. Drag strip, match track, drag strip. Yeah, I figured that. Yeah, not many of my customers want to go round and round in circles. Jeff Hutchins. Oh, something over rebuilt Dodge. Yeah. Rebuilt Dodge. Oh, dear me. Josh Homan, doesn't pay to be brand loyal these days. Most of them are junk. Well, yeah. They're all having their issues, like even Toyota. Who have traditionally made very good, very reliable cars, they're having a lot of engine trouble. So, yeah, I don't know what to tell you. Phil Dodge Fury's here. Welcome along, bud. Cheers. Josh Homan, unfortunately, you're right. Yeah. Jess Bouquet, GMC, Garage Man's Companion. I haven't heard that one. That's pretty good too. Jeff Hutchins, overcomplicated junk. Yep. And they're going to such ridiculous lengths to get fuel mileage and clean burning, which is driven entirely by the EPA. If the manufacturers weren't being, having their feet held to the fire over that sort of stuff by the EPA, our cars would be a lot simpler. I tell you what is going to become popular is early LSs. Now, anything with an early LS in it is going to become more and more popular because it's still, and an early LS is fairly old now, but they're simple. As soon as they went to all this MDS, multi-displacement systems and shit like that, they got too complicated, too top heavy. Chrysler suffer from that. Ford suffer from that. It's a mess, and they're just doing crazy things to get tenths of a mile, 0.1 of a mile per gallon. They're doing it. Jeff Hutchins. Yep, we can really thank our government overseers saving us morons from ourselves. Yeah. That's right, but the challenge to master them, just like pit crews did in NASCAR with the one nut wheel. There you go. Yep. Steve Sadusky, I just heard on the police scanner that Kev is up to no good again at your shop, Kiwi. You may want to check in on him. He's pissed you keep leaving him alone. Yeah. I might have to bring him home for a bit of a clean-up, actually. He's kind of looking a little dowdy with all the grinding dust and just the shit that goes on in the shop. I mean, I get to come home and have a shower. Poor old Kev, he doesn't get to have a shower, so he's just a gritty, dirty old little critter now. So, might have to bring him home and give him some love. Barry Cooter, Uncle Tony said that you can't order just an interior door opener handle for a recent Chevy truck. You have to buy the whole door panel? $385. Wow. He's probably right. $385 for a door panel. That doesn't sound out of control. I had to buy a new. I think I told you about a few weeks back. Like a bear got into my Audi and put a hole in the lid of the center console. And how big is that? That's about 10 inches long and 6 inches wide. $500. And I know I am myself to blame. It's an Audi. I get it. I brought that onto myself. I'm aware of that. But so $385 for a door panel doesn't seem out of the question. But you shouldn't have to buy the whole thing to get the handle, really. But and again, it depends. That's really only a problem if they break all the time. If they don't ever break, then who cares? But if they've got a habit of breaking, then that would suck. Paul Funk, I would love to spend Christmas in New Zealand or Australia, mate. It's the complete opposite to a white Christmas, that's for sure. It's the warmest time of the year, really, and or just about. Probably January's a little warmer. It's summertime. Paul Funk, I hate cold weather and snow. Yeah, my old man always used to say the only place for snow is on a Christmas card. He hated the snow. He said it's the only place it's any good for is on a Christmas card. So But I used to like snow skiing and stuff like that, but my knees don't allow that anymore. So yeah, I can. I'd rather be cold than stinking hot though, because I can warm up. But yeah, the heat kind of kills me these days. Jeff Hutchins, luckily, given enough time, the aftermarket usually fixes stupidity like that. Yes, that's true, Jeff. They do. Yeah, they see a market for that stuff because yeah, it wouldn't be hard to reproduce. I wouldn't think. Josh Homan, let's hope they can fix it in this case. Yeah. Jeff Hutchins, I love snow to a point. I've never reached my breaking point with snow, but there is one. Oh, yeah. I'm sure there is. Chris, 9717. Chris L. Crystal? Good evening from Canada. It's really cold here. Oh, God, I bet it is. Yeah, I'll bet it's cold in Canada. Jeez. Barracuda, we need a lot of help from the aftermarket. Yep. Chris Freemesser, celebrating Christmas on a beach seems such an alien concept to us Northerners here. But it's a fairly alien concept in Nashville. But yeah, no, it's nice. It is nice. There's no doubt about it. It is nice. Matt's rat, it's not cold in Vancouver, Canada. It's 55 degrees. Wow. No, that's not that cold. No. It was actually fairly warm this afternoon here in Nashville too. It's kind of, yeah, the cold disappeared today. It was cold yesterday, but it really wasn't bad today. Charles Dalton, I don't like snow as much as I used to, but at least our bugs aren't the size of a catcher's mitt. Oh, this is true. Steve Sadusky, I watched UT's video about that too. Oh my God. Dr. Arts, hot rod rehab. What's cooking, Kiwi? Mate, got that GDO going. She's a runner. That'll be going home this week with a bit of luck. So finally, best part of a year to get an engine job done, which is crazy, absolutely crazy. But yeah. Garth Harris, welcome from Australia, Kiwi. Welcome along, man. What part of Aussie are you hailing from? Stephen Bunkybird, I hope you're feeling much better. Probably 90%. Still hanging out a little bit. Not really coughing much anymore, but still a bit, sinusy and blocked up a bit. But a lot better. A lot better. But it's a tough flu, man. It took some, it's still taking some getting rid of. And that's 3 weeks in. So Jeff Hutchins, I would never want to celebrate Christmas on a beach. We virtually never get snow here in Western Oregon for Christmas, but we always did in Eastern Oregon. I miss it. Yeah, there is something kind of traditional about, a white Christmas. And I tell you, a lot of Kiwis and Aussies, want to have a white Christmas, wish they could have a white Christmas. So it's funny. We always want what we can't have, don't we? It's such a human trait. So, Dr. Art, what's happening with you, man? What projects are you working on over your channel there? I think you've got rid of that Barracuda now, haven't you? You're another Barracuda. I've got a 67 Barracuda I'm trying to move. But hey, seeing as you like buying cars off me. Garth Harris, Bendigo, Victoria. Oh, cool. Got the big tank VG Valiant Pacer. Oh, right. Yeah. And waiting for a rebuilt 904 for the 66 Barracuda. Stick your cold white Christmas. Got to have sun. There you go. Yep. Jeff Hutchins, we didn't have much money, but my mum always made Christmas awesome. Well, and that's a great memory, isn't it? That's awesome. Yep. Yeah, I miss my mum. I know that. She made the best Christmas mince pies that anybody ever made. And yeah, they're gone with her. So, which is a bit of a shame. But yeah. Dr. R, just put Caltrax on the Ranger. Just put a Paul Bruno in his Galaxy to do some springs and some maintenance. Ah, okay. You actually put Caltrax on the Ranger? Just put Caltrax on the Ranger. Just at Paul Bruno's in his Galaxy to do some springs. Okay. Caltrax on the Ranger. That I've got to see. David Tyree, nothing like a Christmas barbie. Yeah, mate, exactly. We've cooked turkeys in the barbecue before. Yeah, it's really Christmas is really about the people you spend it with, isn't it? Like not so much as where you are. Oh, Dr. Art, the video is up. You can go look at it after you're done. I might just do that. A Ranger with Caltrax. That's that triangular shaped tracks, isn't it? Am I right about that? I mean, you kind of put them onto you put a different wheel on there. It all mounts on where the wheel would normally go, and it's a triangular track. I think that's what he's talking about. No, okay. Just go watch the video. All right, okay, I will do. I don't know what I'm talking about, clearly. That's all right. That happens more often than you'd think. I was thinking you were going all off-roading on us. Barracuda, there's Bendigo in the South Island of New Zealand. Really? An old gold mining settlement. I didn't know that. Huh. Jeff Hutchins, my mum always made a bunch of different Christmas candy. Okay, it was the best. My wife and oldest daughter do a dang good job, but you can never go back to your childhood. No, sadly, yeah, sadly. Jess Phuket, Caltrax are a type of traction bar. Ah, yeah, of course, yes. Yep, nah, a penny drop now. What the hell? Why did my brain go to those four-wheel drive track things? Who knows? Who knows? Not enough bourbon, clearly. So we'll try to work on that. Couldn't have been much further wrong, could I, really? Oh, well. What you going to do? Matt Rat, you were thinking ladder bars. Well, that's what well, they kind of are a ladder bar, aren't they? The Caltrax that I'm thinking of now, yeah. But no, I was thinking about those. I should have obviously didn't engage the brain before I opened my mouth because Dr. Art's Ranger is not all-wheel drive, it's rear-wheel drive. But some of those four-wheel drives, they take off the wheels and put these tracks on them. So you have four little sets of tracks and they'll go anywhere. Jess Phuket, it's the Scotch. Exactly. Tavo, both improve traction. Well, this is true. Yeah, see, I was kind of warm-ish. Not really, but hey. David Tyree, I still have my mum's old recipe. Yeah, that's cool. Steve Sadusky, send the link, Dr. Art. Yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, you're welcome to do that, Doc, if you're still here with us. Josh Heyman, they must have founded Bendigo in Australia, decided to move the town to New Zealand, and then conclude that they liked Australia after all. Jeff Dean, you were thinking of half tracks. Yes, there, you're right. That's what I was thinking of. That kind of thing, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not sure why my brain went that direction, but I puzzle myself sometimes, so, it's to be expected. Right, what do we got here? Jeff Hutchins, Matrax is what you're thinking of, Kiwi. Okay, there are other brands too. Yes, they are expensive. Yes, they are. I thought Dr. Art must be using all his YouTube money to buy a set of those, but I was just miles off the actual, the real thing, what he was actually talking about. So, yep. They're kind of cool, though. I mean, yeah, you know what I'm talking about, Jeff. But yeah, they are kind of cool. But I think they're $6 or $8 a set or something like that, though, aren't they? Don's Manufactory, hello from soggy Portland, Oregon. Hey, mate, good to have you along. Good to have you along. What's happening over at Don's place? What are you manufacturing? Mate, we had a lovely clear day today. No rain at all here in Nashville. So, obviously this is where you need to be, man, not in Oregon. Never rains in Nashville, mate. Now, right. Talk to me, boys. Talk to me. What's going on? What else have I got to tell you about? That's a good question. Kind of run through what we've got going on at the shop. So, yeah. Don's Manufacturing repairing a Fostex G16 reel-to-reel tape recorder. Well, I wouldn't have guessed that. If you'd asked me to take a guess, it would not have been that. But yeah, sounds pretty cool. Jess Phuket, do you still have the Falcon? Now, which one? Because I've got a blue 63 convertible, which I still have, and I had a yellow 67, I think it was, 66, somewhere around there, two-door sedan, two-door post car. But that's long gone, that one. That was a little rusty underneath. So I let someone else deal with that problem. I did I did show them. So, but yeah, they wanted it. So I was like, okay. Jeff Hutchins, if you put wheel replacement tracks on, definitely put the limiting bars on. If you roll that triangular track over, only bad things will happen. Oh, yeah, I would imagine so. Yeah, that would be very bad. Chris Femia, so how's Steve feeling? He reckons he's like 99%. So I'm about a week behind him. So, yeah, it's taken him a month. Jeff Hutchins, Matrax are 25 to 30,000 a set. Oh my God. Really? Wow. Yeah, that's they're cool, but I don't think they're that cool. Jess Phuket, the blue 63. Yes, still got that. Probably always will do. I do not see a reason to sell that car. It's not like it's worth a huge amount or has gone up, fantastically in price, and it's just, somebody wants to give me 80 grand for it, and I've just got to sell it. That's not the case, and it's just such a cool old car that's so rust free. It just doesn't make any sense to sell it. It's just not, it's worth, I don't know, 15 grand maybe. And that's just not that much these days, and yeah, can't think of a reason to sell it. Charles Dalton, all the talk about Monte Carlo makes me think of my son's 86 442. I wish there were companies make G-body parts. We've done well at the junkyards and online, but some repo parts would be nice. It's coming, mate. It's coming. That 80s stuff is becoming more and more popular, and it's coming. Yeah. Watch this space, seriously. Don's Manufactory. What are we sipping this evening? Applejack. Jack Daniel's apple whiskey. So, yeah, quite nice. Chris Freeman, given how popular those G-body GMs were in the 80s, it surprises me that there isn't better aftermarket support for them. The things were everywhere back then. Charles Dalton, I always think the same, and they are still popular. Yeah, well, this is just that they've done what's happening to them is what's happened to cars from the 70s in the past. It was what happened to cars in the 60s, in the past. They go through a period of being unpopular. Nobody wants them. They were just too many everywhere, and like nobody saw a value in them. And that includes 60s cars, which, it sounds bizarre today, but that's the reality of it. Mustangs driving Mustangs was $600 or less. But yeah, not today. But yeah, they went through that period where nobody wanted them, and they were just junk. So nobody was going to make aftermarket parts for them because they weren't popular. And then the popularity ramps up as the right age group get into that stage of their lives where they want to spend money on something like that, on an older car from their youth. And suddenly there's a demand. And then, yeah. I mean, look at all the 70s Chevy stuff you can get now that you couldn't get 10 years ago. But yeah, it's all coming online. So yeah, the stuff will be there for the G-body GMs. It's just a matter of time. Paul Funk, cheap crappy beer. CCB. Okay. Is that what you're drinking, or is that what's that about? Mike the Slacker made it. Well, hey, you made it, mate, and like you made it in the first hour, so that's not too bad. Jeff Hutchins, wish I bought a Monte Carlo SS for $2,500 back before they rusted. They're 4 times that now. Oh yeah, I bet they are. And guess what? They're going to keep going up. So even if you pay 10 grand for one now, it's going to go up in price. Chris Freemesser, isn't it about time for Granddad's junk to show up? Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, he's probably heading in for lunch for about now, something like that. Oh, this camera zooms in and out. It's kind of weird. It's like, who's doing that? It's the computer. So, what else is going on? Not a lot, really. Just been head down at work, getting all these little jobs done. There's always something to do, or the phone to answer. Yeah. But I have got some Kiwi treats did come with the in-laws, but we don't get them till Christmas Day. So I suspect there'll be some of my favourite jelly tip Whittaker's chocolate in there. Tavo, afternoon tea time for Grandad, lunchtime here already. Oh, okay. Barracuda, I thought something like Caltrax would be good, if only for not relying totally on the leaf spring to keep the rear axles from moving. Yeah, they're not a bad. They're just a bit a little agricultural looking. I always thought, but hey, but yeah, I mean they work. They work. That's the bottom line. They work. But it's like a very, very cheap kind of four-link in a way, loosely speaking. But yeah, they don't. The only thing with them is that they don't stop any lateral movement at all. They'll certainly stop the spring from wrapping up, but it won't keep it stable laterally, side to side. Steve Sadusky, there's a bolo out for Granddad's chung. Charles Dalton, have a good weekend. Have a good evening, all. See you next week. See you next week. Chris Freeman said, I'll find his local constabulary to put out an APB on him. Mate, his local constabulary is probably one where he lives is probably like one police officer for 1,000 square miles or something, you know. He's fairly remote. But yes, it might take him a while to find him. So yeah, the room's a little quieter at night. People must be getting busy with Christmas goings on, I suspect. Jeff Hutchins, I held off the customers, locked the door. Good for you, man. So take a seat, grab yourself a beer or a refreshment of some kind, and join the chat. What have you been working on, Jeff? What's new for you? Okay, well, a little bit on Alpine. It's not looking good for the Miata swap on the Alpine. Been measuring up, and yeah, it's I can't make it make sense without having to cut up the chassis of the Miata too much, and that kind of defeats the purpose, really. It is a little bit longer, and that was pretty doable, but it's the seating position within the wheelbase is just wrong. The wheels are quite a bit further back behind the driver's compartment than it is on the Alpine, so that doesn't really line up. And I don't want to have to move the wheels back in the chassis on the that extra length, like the extra 4 inches of wheelbase that Miata have, seems to be mainly between where the driver sits and the back wheels, which is the opposite to the Alpine. And where I need the 4 inches on the Alpine is in the front, because I need room for the engine. It's a ridiculously tight squeeze to get the small block in it. It's because they have quite a short nose on them, and so it needs to be to grow in the front, in the engine bay area, not behind the driver. So it and the firewall on the Miata is very, very critical to the way that the way they're constructed. We might do a video on that, just kind of explain the reasons why they're gonna, it's gonna work awesome on some cars, and they've been body swapped quite a bit. But the Alpine is a little bit of an unusual bird, So yeah, it's not looking good. But I have a plan B. Well, it's actually plan A. The Miata was plan B. So it looks like we might be going back to plan A. So watch this space. Jeff Hutchins working on guns, lots of guns. Oh, goodness me. Okay. So restoring old ones. I think that's what you do, isn't it? Don's Manufacturing. My 66 Stang has been sitting since the NM road trip. Too much crap going on. Right. Yeah, you'd think as we get older, we'd get, we'd have more time, but it doesn't. Yeah, I think until you actually retire and stop doing shit, do you actually have time to do anything? Which is kind of doesn't make sense. Chris Freemesser. So then a Beetle chassis? No, not a Beetle chassis. Have you been watching Ludwig's Garage? He's mad on body swaps onto Beetle chassis, but no, that's not for me, I'm afraid. A rear engine Alpine is not on the cards. Actually, seriously looking at using a bunch of Mustang stuff. Because believe it or not, for this little wee car that the Alpine is, the floor pan is only like about 2 inches narrower than a Mustang floor pan. So I can actually use a Mustang floor pan and just trim a bit off each side and it'll go in. Thinking about using some Mustang front chassis rails because they're, looking at it, I've got to dig a little bit deeper into it and, a little bit more tape measuring. But the chassis rails, they're nice and straight on a Mustang. Obviously, Mustang 2 suspension kits are cheap and available to put a nice front suspension in it. And it lends itself, obviously, to the Mustang engine, the small block Ford. So, seriously looking at that at the moment. Steve Sadusky. Yeah, you would write a book about the Adventures of Kev. It'd be a good kids' book, wouldn't it, mate? That might be your next big earn. Are you going to let Kev help Santa with the sleigh this year, Kiwi? Or was last year a bust when he drove the sleigh into the river? Yeah, well, don't drink and drive. That's the thing, but he just doesn't get it. He doesn't think that law applies to him. So what are you going to do? Barracuda. I knew of a guy in a hot tea bucket who hit the gas hard overtaking and a bolt that keeps the diff in place broke. The diff moved and steered him up a bank, rolled over. Whoa. Yeah, that's not a vehicle you'd want to roll over. Lucky he wasn't killed. Extremely lucky, I'd say. Wow. Yeah. Yeah, years ago, when I say years ago, probably 10 years ago, like pre-YouTube and stuff, I had a customer that had a 69 Camaro. Not a bad one, not a great one, but not a bad one. Zooped up 350 in it. I think it might have been a 383. And he had those ladder bar type rear suspension in it, which was just mounted with a rod end into some bracketry that had been attached to the chassis of the Camaro. And I said to him, like, rod ends are great for racing, but you got to stay on top of them. You got to replace them regularly, and the rod end was only supported on one side. It was basically the bolt went through the rod end and into the chassis. It wasn't like a double set of steel with the bolt through it. It was just a bolt going through the rod end and then into the chassis and bolted on the other side, and it broke on the interstate and speared him off the side of the interstate at like 75, 80 mile an hour, upside down, just destroyed the Camaro. But some people love to put rod end stuff on higher, not high mileage, but high, cars that do a lot. This car, had probably that rear suspension had been on there 10 years with the same rod ends, and it broke. Very hard, steel on steel is that's a race car thing. It's not a longevity thing. Jeff Hutchins, full-time gunsmith. I work on old, new, and in between. Oh wow! Don't do woodwork though. Besides repairs, cracks, etc. You have to be artistic and super patient to build stocks. I'm more autistic. That might be me too, man. That might be me. It's free message. Oh, Kev got banned from the North Pole. Sandy got fed up with Kev drawing mustaches on all the toys. Toy dolls. Good Lord. Yes. He has quite the life, doesn't he? He's quite the life. And Jeff Hutchins, I've seen the centre pin slip out of the differential two different times. That makes them. Ooh, yeah, yes, yeah, that would. Well, that shouldn't happen. Well, in theory, it shouldn't happen, but I guess it does. Yeah, that would blow some shit up, wouldn't it? Wow. Okay. So, what else have I got to report? Really, not much, I don't think. Been doing shit like putting Christmas decoration on Christmas trees and all sorts of fun stuff like that. Actually, I don't mind decorating a Christmas tree. I hate taking it down. It's a pain in the butt. But, it's got to be done, I guess. So, hey, see this? Oh, who's been watching? Wrong side. Who's been watching the Formula One? McLaren, see? Who's been watching the Formula One? I watched the final race on Sunday. That was very cool. Good to see McLaren winning the Drivers' and the Constructors' Championship. Yeah, that was awesome. McLaren, especially McLaren being in New Zealand, originally a New Zealand creation. So yeah, kind of it was awesome to see them doing well. It was close though. It was down to the wire. There was three in the running. 3 drivers could have won the championship. 2 of them McLaren drivers, and 1 of them the Red Bull car. So it was good. But that's the motor race. That's pretty much motor racing done for the year now. I think we don't have too much else to look forward to motor racing wise. Barracuda, a side topic is needed. Yeah, like UFOs or something. Yeah. Paul Funk, my grandpa down in Albuquerque was a gun collector, and when we visited, I slept in the gun room. Oh, he trusted you, didn't he? Jeff Hutchins, once on an old Ford pickup. Okay, one on a Land Cruiser. Land Cruiser might have had a GM axle swapped in. I don't remember for sure. Chris Freemester, so here's the latest fun I've been dealing with as an IT professional. The price of computer memory and storage has gone up 400% in the last 3 months. Wow. Thanks to everyone building AI data centers. Really? Wow. That's exploding, isn't it? Yeah, the amount of AI stuff out there is crazy. 400%. Wow. Wow. Is that so? That is. So is that affecting the likes of just your average Best Buy's laptop, or is that like the bigger systems? Barracuda, Amanda McLaren, Bruce's daughter, has just been on a New Zealand podcast. Yeah, I saw a little bit of her. They flashed her on TV, so to speak, briefly over here. And yeah, I'd heard she'd done something about that. But yeah, McLaren have been the company today have been kind of going back to their roots a little bit more and kind of acknowledging that New Zealand connection a little more, which is kind of cool. And they still have the little Kiwi logo on all the McLaren race cars. So yeah, it's kind of cool. Paul Funk, my grandpa also started the parole system in the state of New Mexico. Okay. That's different. Started the parole system. Wow. Excuse me. Jeff Hutchins, F1 racing. McLaren is racing old Ford pickups. What the hell? Steve Sadusky, I have a question to ask. Has anyone seen the television commercial yet that says it's 11 p.m.? Do you know where I have not seen that one. I would be very interested to see that. Yeah, we got PT Dave, 2002. Hey, sir, 65, 2+2 Mustang here. Thanks. A few years ago, you and UTG gave me advice on putting small block Ford 289 heads on a board 289 to get higher compression. Yeah, you can do that. I don't remember the conversation, but yeah, okay. How did that work out for you? So let me know the real world results of that. Chris Freemus, it's going to affect everybody eventually in a serious way. Okay. So if we're thinking about buying a laptop, we should be doing it sooner rather than later. Tavo, a very abstract Kiwi these days. Absolutely. Barry Cooter, I never stopped thinking of McLaren as Kiwi. Yeah, I mean, well, yeah, that kind of goes with the territory of it being a Kiwi. And a car guy Kiwi, yeah, you can't help but know about McLaren. But I think, if you ask, a lot of people would be like over like Europe way, would be surprised about McLaren being a Kiwi thing. Probably in America too, for that matter. Because it has been a while. In fairness, it's been a while since there was any hands-on, running of the company by a Kiwi. But yeah, no, that's never been lost on me, the McLaren Kiwi thing. Steve Sadusky, what's everyone's opinion on dual quads? Well, you're going to get a couple. Dual quads are. It depends on the engine. They have a cool factor, one, which you can't get past. Typically, unless you've got a pretty big engine, they end up being a little bit over carbureted. You don't, unless they're particularly small 4 barrels. But just putting more and more carburetors on does not equate to more and more power. Most of the dual quad factory setups, a lot of the extra power that they'll claim, like a dual quad engine will typically have 30, 40 horsepower more than a single 4 barrel. But a good chunk of that gain is actually in the camshaft. They typically put a bigger cam with the 2 4 barrels. So that made it want more air. So the carburetors gave it more air. But if you put the twin 4 barrels on a single 4 barrel engine, you didn't get the kind of gain that the factory got, on their actual twin 4 barrel engines. So yeah, but definitely not a thing. I mean, I'm putting twin 4 barrels on March, and in all honesty, it's for the look. It was a neat option back in the 50s, late 50s. So it kind of fits with the car, the era. And I mean, I'll have it set up progressive, and you can play around with how fast the second carb comes in. But we've got like 2 twin. Trying to remember what size they are. I think they're like 580 or something like that. Well, there's 2 screens behind this one, and they both just went blue, and then suddenly I've got blue glass. There we go. It's turned off again. But yeah, it's twin 4 barrels are cool, and they can take a little bit of, if you've got to start changing jets on them because it's running too rich or too lean or something, then you've got twice as many jets to buy, and twice as many floats to set float heights on, and so they're definitely a bit more work. But you're always going to get, when you open the hood, you're going to get Twin fours. How cool. So yeah, my opinion. Yeah, I like them. I like them. Same with six packs or triple two barrels. Yeah, yeah. I mean that's just 1.5 4 barrels basically. So yeah, and they're not that hard. Like people talk about how you've got to constantly keep them tuned, and I don't really buy into that. Like carburetors don't really go out of tune. You put a set of jets in them. The jets don't change size, but it's a fair bit of messing around getting it to where you need it to start with because you've got twice as much to work with. So yeah, but they're cool. Barracuda. Actually, Amanda said that the new logo wasn't meant to be a Kiwi, but people said they were. Oh, really? Okay, I didn't know that. Huh. Okay. There you go. Jeff Hutchins, my dad rebuilt a Cobalt boat when I was a kid. He put 351 heads on a 302. I don't know Ford gas motors, so I don't know how that combo works. But it ran great. There you go. Jeff Hutchins, dual cods look cool. What else? What else matters? Well, there's a lot of truth to that, mate. A lot of truth to that. Paul Bruno's, 351 heads will get more fuel air in there. Yeah, I mean, that's where all your horsepower's made. Where it comes from is the cylinder heads. Like you've got to get the air in, and you've got to get the air out, or the burnt air, the spent air. You've got to get it in, got to get it out, and the more of that you can do, the more horsepower you'll make. You put gigantic cams in them, but if the heads don't flow, then the cam's kind of a lost cause. It doesn't. The valves will be open longer, but if they can't actually suck it through the heads, then it's not really going to go any better. Andy Nickel, well, that was fun. Electrical gremlins when it gets cold. Minus 18. Ow. Sounds colder in Celsius. Ooh. 18 degrees Celsius. What is that in American speak? That's pretty damn cold. Pretty damn good. Well, you do not want electrical gremlins when it's that cold outside. That's for sure. Yeah, talking more about the dual quads, that tri-power Pontiac I've got. I've had the carburetors wide open on that. It's got an awesome induction sound. Just sounds like a very normal V8 when you're just driving around on the center carburetor, but then you stand on it and open those other two carburetors, and the induction noise is great. It's really cool. Barracuda, Jeff, I've got a late 30s Winchester 22 single shot. Been in the family since new. 1980, I hired a gunsmith to fit a scope to it. He fitted it on an angle. Fitted it on an angle? Pretty unprofessional. Yeah, I'd say so. Andy Nichols, 0 Fahrenheit. Wow. Yeah, that's funny how, 32 is freezing in Fahrenheit. 0 is freezing in Celsius. But 0 Fahrenheit works out to minus 18 Celsius. Yeah. I always thought that was weird with Fahrenheit. Like, why did someone choose 32 as freezing point? Like, why 32? Why not 33 or 4 or 41? Like, why 32? Like, 0 is nothing. So that just sounds like freezing to me. But hey. Hmm. Hmm. Barracuda. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that about that Kiwi logo because it really does look like a Kiwi, but yeah, that's kind of odd. Paul Funk, I have a 50-year-old thermometer that reads both Fahrenheit and Celsius. Oh, okay. So that's like a circular gauge that the needle. Yeah, okay. That'd be cool to have. Chef Hutchins, ported the crap out of it. Ported the crap out of set of 360 heads, put them on a 318 with a big cam, and shaved them to get exactly 9.5 to 1 compression. My son's school has a dyno. It puts out almost exactly 400 horse. Wow. That's good, man. Out of a 318, that's good. That's really good. You must have done a good job porting them. That's very good. 400. I mean, I'm hoping to get 400 out of Marge's 318, but that's going to be out to 390 something. So the fact that you did it with 318 cubes is very impressive. Andy Nickel, or 212 for boiling point. Who knows? Yeah. See, Celsius 100 for boiling. So, halfway to boiling is 50. It's easy. Yeah. What's halfway to the boiling point in Fahrenheit? 212, 32. Yeah. Too much for my brain. Chris Freemasson, I'm sure there's a super interesting story as to why Fahrenheit is scaled the way it is, and I feel like I should know it, but I don't. There you go. Yeah, someone needs to tell us why that is. Somebody here must know. Barracuda, and he made me wait about 5 weeks to get that done. Wow, that'd be annoying. That'd be annoying. Jeff Hutchins, he got the mounts off centre or just the wrong mounts. He drilled the holes off centre. Wow, that's a little bit hard to fix, isn't it? David Tyree, that logo is supposed to represent a chevron. Huh, okay. That's news to me. Tavo, 0 freezing or 100 boiling. How can anyone make sense of that nonsense? Well, we had to keep it simple for the Australians, mate. That's Jeff Hutchins, there's a bunch of recipes out there for 400 horse 318. Like Kiwi said, they all have great heads to get there. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. Yeah, it can be done. Yeah, supposedly the poly heads can be ported and got to work quite well. Apparently, they're actually quite a good head out of the box, flow wise. Yeah, I remember years, when I was a kid, I had a 63 Dodge with the 318 poly in it. That went well, for a teenager. It was pretty decent. I think they were 230 horsepower stock, so it was pretty useful back in when was that? Late 70s, no, 1980-ish. Yeah, probably a little bit. No, would have been late 70s. Paul Funk, minus 40 Fahrenheit equals minus 40 Celsius. Yeah, it's weird how that works, isn't it? I knew there was a point where they crossed, but I couldn't remember what it was. Who would have figured that out? And probably it's just completely random because they wouldn't. It's not like, I don't think Celsius was being dreamt up at the same time Fahrenheit was. Barracuda, the Amanda McLaren interview is on the Dom Harvey podcast. That's where she stated that about the local. Okay. I have to try and find it. Jeff Hutchins, yes. Poly heads are good. Okay. So will they outflow an LA head? Or do they need work? Like, are they good out of the box, or do they respond well to porting? Poor Funk, if it gets to minus 40 in Colorado, probably not going to happen. I'm moving to Arizona. Josh Homan should move there anyway. Yes, man, it's hot in Arizona, though, isn't it? Wow. So Barracuda, who's Dom? I haven't heard of Dom Harvey before, but like where would I find his podcast about that? Wouldn't mind having a listen to that. Jeff Hutchins, and the Poly engines are a steel crank, not the UK since you're building a stroker. The cast Chrysler cranks are freaking tough, though. Yes, I've heard that too, yeah. They're certainly not the weak link. Barracuda, a Poly 318 in your 63 Dodge Kiwi. Yep, that's what it was supposed to be. That's what it was sold to me as. It's been speculated that it might have been a 313 or something like that. But as far as I knew back then, we'd never heard of a 313. At least I hadn't. But I was like 17 or something. So very much in the learning early stages. But yeah. David Tyree, gets real cold in Nelson. Sometimes we get a frost. Yeah. Well, Nelson's a nice spot. Yeah, Nelson's a nice spot. It is. It's really pretty. So, what's happening, guys? Yeah, it's a quiet night tonight. We've got 24 in the room right now. So it's a little quieter than usual. It's a busy time of year, though. And it is pretty much almost exactly 2 weeks till Christmas. It's crazy. Crazy. Barracuda, Dom Harvey is on YouTube. Okay. I think he's been an Auckland radio announcer. Okay. Could be. It's a little concerning at times how much, having been away from New Zealand since 2008. So what's that? 15, 17, nearly 18 years, almost 18 years. It's amazing how much I've lost touch with New Zealand, even though I go back for visit pretty regularly. But yeah, certainly, it's amazing how much you do lose touch. My wife probably doesn't. She keeps up with it more. Like, she listens to Kiwi radio in her car. Whenever she's driving, she's got the Kiwi radio station on. And it's not because they play better music; they play everybody's music. But it's just, the little, she gets to listen to the morning show at a not so early time, of course. She's in the car at the right time, so you kind of it keeps her a little bit more up to date with the Kiwi, what's going on in Kiwi land. Jeff Hutchins, I definitely bought the poly heads for your stroker, especially since you're increasing the cubic inches. There are a lot of variation in the flow of different LA heads. Oh, okay. So some are good, some are not so good. Okay. What about the polys? Fairly generic, fairly much the same. Chris Freeman, he's been doing some research. Apparently the Fahrenheit scale was based on the freezing and boiling points of brine, not of water. Oh, well, that makes perfect sense. Really? Brine? Why brine? Good grief. That's bizarre. Paul Funk, I can't complain about the weather here in the western slope of Colorado. It was 49 today and will reach the upper 50s the rest of the week. Mate, that's very acceptable, isn't it? That's not hard to live with at all. David Tyree, must be a very similar vintage boomer from 61 here. Yep, mate, that's my year, 61. 61. That's the year of the Alpine too, coincidentally. So Mrs. Kiwi gets to have two 61 vintage things in her life. Yeah. Andy Nickel, anyone catch the Biff Circle Track race? Small clay track, 20 Crown Vics, top speed maybe 50 mile an hour. It was hilarious. Mud and cars flying all over the place. 20 Crown Vics, good Lord. That probably was pretty entertaining. So was it like a demo derby, or were they actually trying to race, like race? Yeah. The Biff Circle Track. Is that a YouTube thing? They sort of, I'd like that kind of stuff, and like the figure eight racing they have on some of these smaller town dirt tracks and stuff. It was just nuts. And the skid plate racing, you guys seen that, where they actually put steel plates on the back wheels of front wheel drive cars, so they drift like full lock drifting on at like 20 mile an hour because there's steel skid plates instead of wheels on the back. They just oversteer at 5 mile an hour. It's just it's silly, it's nonsense, but it makes you laugh. Jeff Hutchins, you actually cannot get heads good enough to feed a stroked LA like a 408. Custom ported Edelbrocks might get you there. Okay. Well, yeah. That makes sense. The factory made them, they did what they could, and they were made to feed 318s, not 408s, I guess the biggest LA the factory made was a 360, wasn't it? So why make a head to feed something bigger than what you're actually producing? So I get it. Chavo, mid-30s here all week. Well, that's a little chilly. Barracuda, Greg Murphy has a podcast too. Yes, I've heard about that. I've seen little clips of it come up on the shorts on YouTube. I've seen the odd little bit about that. There's so much to look at, isn't there, on YouTube? Jeff Hutchins, Andy Nickel, I watched it. I wish I had got some semi-truck footage on that little clay circle. The driver said the semis would get up to 55. Good Lord. Wow. Racing semi-truck. They do that in Europe. That's a big thing in Europe, truck racing. At least it was, I think. I'm not sure whether they're still doing it, like semi-truck racing. But that's pavement sealed tracks, like road courses. But they were having trouble with them doing too much damage when they crashed. None of the barriers and walls and stuff like that would stand up to the weight of those things crashing at 100 mile an hour. David Tyree, figure eight towing caravans. Yes. That's just that's where the expression "only in America" comes from, mate. Is that stuff? That's the exact thing that they're talking about when they say that. Oh, okay. Jeff Hutchins, Greg Biffle, ex-Ford NASCAR. Yep, the Biff. Huh. So he's got himself a circle track. Interesting. Andy Nicholl, it's an annual race, 100 laps and 20 lap legs. Okay. They had big rig races, front wheel races, and other stuff. Sounds like an awesome night. Yeah, it's amazing what can be really entertaining to watch. It doesn't have to be Formula One speed to be entertaining, or Formula One tech. It's just, good racing is good racing. And I mean, some great racing I've seen years back now was the little mini sevens. Not fast by any stretch of the imagination. It's not fast at all. They had little 800, not even 1 litre engines, 850cc little minis that were absolute like feather light. They took so much, they weren't heavy anyway, and they took, so much weight out of them. They actually, got along at a decent clip, but they were so small they'd be 4 abreast around corners. That made it fun to watch. Steve Sadusky, opinions on old school cast iron heads versus today's new aluminum heads prior to porting. Ooh, that's okay. Depends what aluminum heads you're talking about. There's a lot of aluminum heads out there. There's some aluminum heads that do not flow well, particularly well, if at all, even, possibly not even as good as a stock plain cast iron head. But there are some aluminum heads that are CNC ported that flow extremely well. You got to pay for them though. If you're paying $800 for a pair of heads off of eBay out of China, then don't expect it to make 600 horsepower, because it's not gonna. And some of the right old school cast iron heads flow very well. The factory, when they put their mind to it, could come up with some pretty clever stuff. They just didn't always put their mind to it, But an aluminum head, you're going to save some weight, a reasonable amount of weight. And if you put the money down and actually buy some decent ones, and Edelbrocks are not really at the high end of the performance scale with aluminum heads. They're really not. They're not bad, but they're not the best out there. So that's a tricky one to give an opinion. There's so many variables in there. Jeff Hutchins, they make aftermarket heads good enough for small block Ford 408 strokers, but us mobile guys are left out in the cold. I'm surprised. Don't Trick Flow make a good head for the LAs? I thought they did. Trick Flow makes some pretty good heads. Pretty good. Or am I thinking, or were they with Trick Flow only making heads for the big block mobiles? I thought they made them for the LAs. I might be making that up. Sorry, guys, if I am. Barracuda, I knew of a man that had 262 Plymouth Savoys. He replaced the threading polys with the Massey Ferguson tractor motor. Wouldn't be my choice for repowering. No. It'd be more of a re-underpower, I would think. Powering sounds a little flattering. Why would you do that? Why would that's crazy. But, yeah, I mean, Dead Dog's garage has got the 59 Plymouth, isn't he, with the Cummins in it, which the Cummins would be a lot better option than a Massey Ferguson engine. Good lord. Jeff Hutchins, many people say all things equal, iron heads outperform aluminium, but heavier and if not right, more likely to produce detonation. Harder to build, cast and machine. Yeah. Porting a set of V8 cast heads is a lot of work. A lot of work if you're going to get serious about it. It's a lot slower to remove material. But yeah, you're going to get people in different camps about aluminum and cast. If there's enough material in the cast head and you can shape it and literally do porting, which is a black art to do it well. Not many people really know how to port cylinder heads. That's a tricky. A lot of people know how to make them just bigger and kind of look a bit prettier, but flowing is airflow at supersonic speeds, which is what it gets up to, is a tricky thing. Andy Nickel, the winner took home 10 grand. Nice. Plus 500 from a sponsor. Wow, that kind of makes it worth trying. So you got a 1 in 20 chance of getting that. Wow. Tavo sounds like the Plymouth Perkins taxi. Yeah. That's Dead Dog's. Dead Dodge garages, Plymouth. I assume you're talking about Tavo. I thought it was a Cummins, but it's probably a Perkins. Barracuda, once upon a time, Edelbrock was amongst the best, wasn't it? Yeah. Look, don't know. Honestly, I don't know. It certainly has. It's a very well-known name, but I don't honestly know whether it was amongst the best. Aries make very good heads. There's a few different companies make good cylinder heads. Edelbrock is probably the best known name. It doesn't necessarily mean it's the best product. Anyone who's into hot rodding knows the brand name Edelbrock, like everybody. Which is part of being a successful company is promoting your brand name. So they've done a very good job of that. Edelbrock is very, very well known. Jeff Hutchins, Mopar LA strokers are so far limited by available heads. The best are Edelbrock ported. Edelbrocks are the only option. Okay. You can tell on a dyno the heads are the limiting factor. Okay. Well, that's crazy. I really would have thought there'd be... Oh, well, there you go. I would have thought there'd be enough demand for LAs. They're a good engine. But I guess everyone was building small block Chevs, Ford kind of were a little bit slower getting more popular. It's funny, isn't it? Mopar has got, the most famous engine in the Hemi. But I think their little LA was a terrific engine. Okay, Barracuda, what motors did the Perkins Plymouth have? Is that a thing? That's not just a one Plymouth that had a Perkins engine put into it? Chris Freemesser. Oh, thanks for that informative answer, Mr. Freemesser. Perkins diesel engines. Yes. I think, I think he was looking for a little more detail than that, perhaps. Tavo, not sure on the engine model, but a 4-cylinder. As Kiwi said, DDG is one in the 59. Yeah. So was that a thing in Australia or something? Was it, Tavo? Like they who was doing that, and like what was that about? Jeff Hutchins, Magnum heads are good for regular build. They're all cracked. Just run them. The cracks don't bother them. Okay. Okay. So yeah, you'll all have to go and look at Dr. Art's. I felt, Dr. Art dropped by the other day, and yeah, he really got screwed over on his YouTube channel. I did feel bad for him because he lost everything. So, like, he's back up and running, but like he's literally starting from ground zero. He's still working through, getting enough hours and enough subscribers again to become monetized. Like he's really having to start completely over. And he's got bits and pieces of his old videos that were up on YouTube, and kind of worries me a little, to be honest with you, because someone hacked him and just killed all his stuff. I don't know why they chose him, but they did. But I tend to think of all the video footage I've got of the different things I've done. It's all on YouTube, and it's going to be there forever. Oh yeah, if someone hacks my channel, then like I haven't kept a lot of the footage that because you've got to keep it somewhere, and you run out of space to store it. But a lot of the raw bits and pieces that are unedited and unstrung together have been deleted. So yeah, if someone hacks me, I'll lose a lot of stuff, which is a little concerning. I don't know how you're supposed to avoid that. But any insight on that, Mr. Freemesser, would be appreciated. Any suggestions? Paul Funk, my old boss had a 72 Duster with a stroked iron head small block that ran 12.6 at the 5,800 feet here in Colorado. That's pretty respectable. Barry Cooter, what's tonight's side topic? Well, we haven't kind of got stuck into any one particular thing. No, it's funny. Just some nights it rolls that way and some nights it doesn't. But no, there hasn't really been a definitive side topic. Jeff Hutchins, it was just the converted taxis that had Perkins. US company converted them. Very rare. Don't know which exact 4-cylinder Perkins. I only know about them because of Dead Dodd Garage. 54 screaming horsepower. Good Lord. So it was done in the US. Okay. And it was actually done for taxis. I know DDG refers to it as his taxi, 59 tax, but that's actually a real deal thing. I didn't realize that. Josh Homan, Tony talked about Magnum heads developing minor cracks over time. Doesn't normally affect their operation. Well, Tony would know. You got to give him that. Snow Crusher, all the way from Canadistan. Good evening, sir. Good to have you along for 4 minutes. Better late than never, as they say. Andy Nickel, need to have it backed up off site. Yeah, it's kind of got me thinking, but, you've also got to find time to do something about it. Barracuda, Pumice-Stone Bookends, West Germany. Good Lord, yeah. 2 4-barrels versus 1. There's been a bunch of little questions tonight, but none of it's really headed off and got everyone involved. So, yeah. Jeff Hutchins, yep, people just used to throw away cracked Magnum heads. Now we know that just not to worry about it and use them. They don't care. Well, as long as they're not cracked into a water gallery or an oil gallery or something like that, then it's just a crack. I guess it was bad enough you could potentially cause. Oh, excuse me, getting late. Could potentially cause some detonation issues if it's in the combustion chamber, but have to be a bad crack. Yeah, Paul Funk. Side topic is I'm cold and don't like cold weather. Yes, we were talking about summer Christmases and winter Christmases, white Christmas, stuff like that for a little while. Yeah, and how everyone in the cold climate wants a warm Christmas, and everyone in the warm climate wants a cold Christmas. So, as usual, people are hard to please. Andy Nickel, before you upload it, just back it up. Yeah, I haven't. Most of it's still on is on YouTube and on my editing suite because I've not really deleted anything from my editing suite. So that's got a lot of stuff on it, and they don't seems to be unlimited storage, but it is cloud based. So yeah, it's not really in my possession, strictly speaking. It's not like having it on a hard drive or something. Jeff Hutchins, hey, we even talked about guns. Yeah, it's not the first time we've talked about guns. We've got a couple of gun people on the stream usually. Snow Crusher 6.2 diesels cracked heads with no problems. Okay. Chris Freemesser, my own personal opinion, never, ever, ever keep your only copies of important data on someone else's cloud. Yeah. Always have at least 2 local copies stored in different places. Yeah. I mean, yeah. It'd be hard to argue with that, really, wouldn't it? That does make the most sense. That's, why I'm not. But yeah. Time to do all this shit, isn't it? I'm usually, pushing to try and get a video out before 7 o'clock at night, and I hit the publish button and I'm done. I don't really start then thinking about 2 different places to back it up to, but I should. I know. Hopefully, I won't get Dr. Arted, but one day when I've got lots of spare time, I'm not quite sure when that's going to be, but I should, download it from my editing website and to a hard drive, which is wouldn't be hard to do really. But once I figured it out, I've not done that before, so I just have to figure out how to do it and keep doing it. So yes, good advice, Mr. Freemesser. Thank you, sir. David Torrey, I think London taxis are so ugly, they're cool. Kind of like forward control Jeeps. Oh, yeah, that's true. Barracuda, I got that from the Fall and Rise of Reginald Perrin. Gosh, that's an old program. I actually remember that show. Who was that guy? Was he British or Australian? I know the name and I can almost picture the face, if I close my eyes, but I can almost remember what he sounds like, but not quite. But gosh, when was that? Was that the 80s or 90s or something? That guy was on TV. I think he was British. All right. Well, look at that. Hey, it's 9 o'clock. And we're exactly on 2 hours and 17, 18, 19 seconds. So, yeah, it's around that time, guys. So, yeah, a little bit quieter night, but still a good night. Still a good chat. So thanks for all you guys for joining in and chatting. And it's always a bit of fun. Makes the evening go by quickly. David Tyree, a POM from Rising Damp TV program. Yeah. Rising Damp. Yes, that was another show, wasn't it? Yeah. Yep. I remember now. Yeah, so, yes, thanks for all your contributions. Thanks for hitting the like button. If you haven't yet, do it quickly before you go. And, yeah, have a good night, rest of your night. Have a good weekend. Jeff Hutchins, you know what's sad? We'll never get another Top Gear that's good. Yeah, no, you won't. We won't. That's, yeah. Yeah, that really is a once-in-a-lifetime combination of those three guys. Individually, they were good, but not brilliant. The three of them together were just brilliant. But anyway, there's always reruns. Barracuda, 1970s. Wow, Leonard Rossiter. Yeah, that information, it's in there. I remember the name, now you say it. It's in there, but you just can't access it, you know? Andy Nicol, that's my problem. I always behave. Mate, I only behave when people are watching. The rest of the time, it's on. All right, guys. Well, yeah, have a great one. I'll be here next Tuesday, and I think the Tuesday after that might be like Christmas Eve or something. So I don't know that I'll do a live then, but I'll figure that out by next week. You'll be the first to know. Watch out for some videos coming. And hopefully by next Tuesday I've got rid of this cough completely. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks again. Have a good week. We'll see you next week, next Tuesday. See you, boys.